Welcome back to another episode of All Things Everything presented by Gulf Coast Smoke. My name is Alonzo.
And I'm Sabrina.
And this is episode 51. And how are you doing today?
I'm good. I mean, just trying to stay warm in this weather. It's
ugly.
It's ugly. It's really not even too cold temperature-wise, but it's just been like very light drizzle the past 2 days, so it just feels nasty.
Yeah, and we were outside most of the day at work today.
Really?
It was actually it was pretty horrible, to be honest, just because we're moving a lot of stuff from building to building, and we're getting ready for this and getting ready for that, and today was an ugly day. Just being outside, it wasn't a bad day, but it's just like being out there, it's like, man, this sucks. But it is what it is, and I'm glad that you had a good day. I mean, I definitely had a good day. I'm not complaining at all. I actually had a really good day. It's just, like I said, being out there in that, like, your hands start to hurt and stuff, and it's just a weird, but
anyone who has to work out in that type of weather, I mean, just props to you.
No, for sure. So we had a pretty eventful weekend, I would say. I mean, a pretty busy weekend starting Friday all the way through Sunday. Let's talk a little bit about what we did Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Right. So Friday, we packed up and got ready to go to Seguin for the CBA World Championships.
Yep.
So we got there, I mean, at a decent time, but setup took a little longer than we anticipated. And so, which normally isn't a big deal for us, but Friday we were cooking turkey. So they had a turkey entry for Friday night, due at 8 o'clock. So we did some smoked turkey, and let's talk about, how we did the turkey first of all.
Yeah. So basically CBA got the turkey smoke sanctioned, and turkey smoke, from what I understand, if anybody's listening in the comments and I'm incorrect and you want to correct me, let me know. But basically what it is a sanctioning body that is only at certain events. And what it tries to do is promote people to actually go and purchase turkey from your local grocery store. So eat more turkey, I think, is the kind of gist of the whole thing. Again, I could be wrong there, but I believe that that's what it is. And it was really fun for us to be able to do a different category and something that we knew people were actually going to take seriously.
Yeah.
So we got a turkey breast from H-E-B, our local H-E-B. And I trimmed it up. I actually took all of that silver skin completely off of the turkey breast, which is not something that I'll typically do, but I did for this just to make sure that we had a really, really good bite. And we literally ran the recipe that we posted on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, where we took 2 cups of chicken broth, a stick of butter, and 1/4 a cup of trifecta, and we injected it as much as we possibly could. And we actually did not season over top with trifecta, though. We did season over top with a new seasoning that we're kind of playing around with, and we wanted to test it out there. And, man, I'll tell you what, that turkey breast turned out so good. Now, what we basically did was we smoked it until it reached 155 degrees internal. We let it rest. We sliced it up, and then we let it rest, put a glaze on it, and then sliced it up and served it. And our glaze was apple habanero and a little bit of our, I don't even know what we're calling it right now, but it's our cherry pineapple glaze with jalapenos in it and a little bit of other flavors. And I just think it tasted out of this world, unreal.
Yeah.
So what we actually did was we ended up putting that glaze over top of the turkey breast, slicing the turkey breast up, and then putting that glaze on the front of the turkey slices as well, almost like a brisket.
Right.
Almost like a brisket turn-in. So if you guys follow us on Facebook, you could see that turn-in of our turkey breast. And actually, I do think it looked really good. I do think it could have looked better, but we were actually rushing.
Yeah.
So, again, I don't know why we've been doing this lately, but I think it's just because we haven't been competing as much. Our timing is not perfect, and we are unfortunately pushing it like to the end of almost every single turn-in, which we really need to figure out. But, we pushed it to the very, very end of this turkey turn-in, and I'll tell you what, it was really cool because I do think that the turkey was excellent, like excellent. And then, we had some people come by and try it, and, man, they were really impressed with it as well. So I knew it was a good turkey breast. I knew that we had a shot to take it all.
Well, and Son, I mean, he normally doesn't eat the smoked turkey breast, and he was eating as much as he could. Anything that was left, he was eating. So that was a really good sign to us, especially with like the glaze on it.
Yeah.
The fact that he was eating all of that, that was a really good sign to us because, I mean, we We love to make smoked turkey, and
I love it.
we've said it before. Smoked turkey is a very underrated barbecue food item at most barbecue restaurants.
Sure.
So we really do like smoked turkey, but
Mhm.
it's not something we've ever made in competition. So we don't really know what parameters people are going with when it comes to turning
Yeah.
in a smoked turkey entry.
And you know what? I'll tell you this much. We didn't use phosphates. We didn't use any
Yeah.
crazy injections or anything like
No
that.
brine.
We used no brine, and it was a delicious turkey. And it really has actually gotten Sabrina and I talking a little bit about how we're going to do our chicken moving forward, because this was really, really simple, and it was so, so good. We nailed the texture, which I think is obviously super important.
Mhm.
But the flavor with that glaze, with that new seasoning, it all just came out so, so good. And, I was truly impressed with it. I really was. Not that I didn't think we could do that, right? But we actually hadn't run that glaze before.
Right.
And so to run it and to know that it was really good is a good feeling. It gives us confidence in that product. We ended up using that glaze also on our ribs. So, it's which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I mean, we used that glaze on 2 proteins, and we walked. I'm sorry, we did not walk in turkey, but we got 6th place out of
Yeah.
what, 87? Did they
80
say?
something teams, yeah.
Out of 87 teams, we got 6th place turkey. They only called top 5, but we got 6th place, so we barely missed the walk. But it's a top 10 turkey breast amongst a really, really good cooks. We had chicken fried barbecue in 5th, LC barbecue in 4th, Texas smoke barbecue in 3rd, cast iron cookers in 2nd, and Si Quema barbecue in 1st, which is actually Bobby Ray Delgado, Bobby's son. He's still in high school. A great cook. He actually used Trifecta, and he used our recipe, or close to our recipe as well. And man, I just love that he did well. He went out there and he won that. So congratulations to Bobby Ray Delgado. Absolutely killed it on the turkey cook. And I'll tell you one thing. I texted Phil today and I said, dude, can I please talk about your turkey? And he's like, man, no problem. Go ahead, bro. So I'm freaking out because literally Friday night, the thing about Phil, if you guys don't know Phil Breeden, LC Barbecue, he's like super relaxed, just a really good, fun guy to be around. Man, when he's cooking barbecue on Saturdays, he's really, obviously he's into it. He's in the zone. He doesn't talk too much, but like on Friday nights, man, you catch him, he's just chilling, having maybe a beer or two, whatever. So Friday night, he's of course he wants to win turkey smoke because Phil wants to win everything, I'm sure. Man, I walk by and I'm like, what is going on over here? Phil's got his turkey on a rotisserie attachment on his Weber kettle, and it is just spinning. And he's literally got, I'm not kidding you, he's got a beer in one hand, and he's got a bottle of Hen Drench in the other. If you guys don't know, Hen Drench is his chicken brine. And he's just, boom, he's just hitting it. He's just hitting it all over with Hen Drench. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, shit, smoking some turkey, bro. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he's like, man, if all of this fits in the box, it's all going in the box. And I'm like, oh my gosh, let's go, baby. And so Phil ends up walking 4th overall in the turkey smoke. So, man, congrats to Phil as well. Just a great lineup of cooks that was top 5.
Well,
so
honestly, too, and sorry to cut you off, but for, we didn't really view that as like a ancillary type thing, right?
No.
That was a full on, protein entry, and for that many teams, that's more than at a regular cook-off.
No, so
we were super happy with the 6th place.
They said that's more entries than the American Royal gets, and
Right,
there's 400, 500 teams at the American Royal. More people at this contest entered into the turkey smoke than at the American Royal, and again, we got 6th. So I'm extremely happy with that.
For sure,
extremely happy. So we really, really, really just did it so simply. We injected it exactly what I just said, took it to 155, let it rest, sliced, glazed the front, and man, it was just on another level good. But the turkey breast was a really, really good, successful event, and I hope that they do more of that because it was just a lot of fun. And again, I did not mind eating turkey breast for dinner that night,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was just a really, really good start to a weekend, 2-hour weekend. And although we at that time did not know our scores, we felt pretty good.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, that's a good confidence booster going into Saturday. And, we went to sleep early. We woke up Saturday early. We got out there. We started the pit. Everything was frozen over, iced over. It was really, really cold. But, man, me and Dad were out there, and we started the pits, and we started everything. And, Man, it just we got to rocking and rolling. So I mean, how do you feel like Saturday went? We'll talk about what you did over there. You showed up just a little bit later. I mean, you were there like 7 a.m. Wasn't even late.
Yeah, so son had actually woken up sometime between 3 and 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And like could not go back to sleep.
Yeah, so he woke you up.
Woke me up, was
and
waking
woke me
everybody
up.
else. Yeah, everybody was up. And so it was one of those things where it's like, okay, well, I'm waiting for him to go back to sleep and he's not going back to sleep. He's waking everybody else up. You know, and at this point, if they do finally fall back asleep, that's when I would have had to wake them up to get out there. Because I like to be out there at least by like 7 if I have to stay at a hotel. I still want to get there as early as possible for filming. And I know that's it's getting close to the time where we're going to start wrapping stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that I'm there. And so, I mean, everybody was up. We got up, headed over there, got there, I don't know, like 6:30, 6:40, something like that.
Yeah, it was early. It was for sure early. But,
yeah.
You know, just to kind of get into the cook, and we don't want to spend too much time on the cook and, you know, exact details or anything. But, man, I thought it was a really strong cook.
We started with really, really good quality proteins.
Yeah, we started with quality proteins. You know, if you guys need anything protein-wise for competition, most definitely hit up the chopping block. They absolutely saved our butts. So we actually didn't have a brisket, didn't have pork. They came through for us very, very last second. And high quality, you know, we wanted a Snake River Farms brisket. He was able to get us a really nice snake. He got us some really, really nice monies and some pulled. And, man, just thank you to John and the chopping block for helping us out and getting us those meats. If you guys are interested in anything, you know, obviously go check them out for sure. We started with good proteins. We felt like, you know, we were able to inject everything the way we wanted to the night before, had a really good plan, timeline. You know, everything looked really good, and we just felt confident going into Saturday. And then we started, you know, cooking everything, and honestly, I just felt good the whole time. I felt like everything was going really, really smoothly with every single protein. I mean, color was looking great. We were able to nail what we wanted to do on color. We were able to nail what we wanted to do on texture, in my opinion. You know, I thought that we really nailed the finish as well. Everything tasted really, really good. And, man, I mean, it just, you know, it's one of those things where most of the time when you leave an event and a couple of days later, you start to reflect, you're like, man, I really feel like I messed up there, actually. And I really feel like I messed up here, actually. And I really feel like maybe I could have done this there instead. Or, man, I actually forgot to do this. I forgot to do that. And that's probably why I didn't score. That's why I probably didn't score. Man, I ain't going to lie to you. I've been thinking about it every day since, and I don't really have those feelings.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, and for anybody listening, I'm not complaining. It is what it is. It happened. We got spanked again, and we'll get into that in a second. We got spanked again. But, man, I just don't feel like we missed any marks.
Right.
That being said, we ended up with a 25th chicken, which I told you guys we would not get 104th again. So major, huge change for us. Huge change. So, again, we did not know at the time that we got 25th chicken when they were calling, because they don't call 25th. But we did actually feel like, man, our chicken was really good today.
Yeah, we had been practicing for weeks leading up to this. And, I mean, we had some really strong cooks at the house that we felt confident going in with the half chicken, because I think realistically, I think you give yourself an advantage when you do thighs, when you do legs or wings, because I think those are naturally more flavorful than the breast.
Yeah.
But I think if you can nail a half chicken, it's really impressive, right? So for us, we're really stubborn, and we really wanted to nail a half chicken, especially if we do any IBCAs, anything like that.
Which we're going to. I mean, I think our next 2 events are IBCAs.
Right.
So we have to cook it. And that's, I've said this before, I'll say it one more time, sorry to cut you off. That's what I love about IBCA. It forces everybody to cook the same exact thing. Everybody's on basically the same exact playing field for within reason, obviously, because somebody can get a select brisket in the Snake River Farms, and that's not really even playing field. But, you know, either way, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, and I think with the half chickens that we were making, I mean, I think we finally found, I guess, the method, right, that we want to, the method we want to go with when it comes to prepping and cooking it. Because I think with chicken, seasonings, I don't really think are the main aspect or like the make or break for it.
It's the injection, in my opinion.
Right, I think it's the injection.
And the brine.
And the doneness that you bring it to, right? So I think we had nailed that at home, and going to the comp, I think we really nailed it there.
Yeah.
So we were pretty confident with chicken. You know, of course, we didn't know how we had placed, but we
didn't
we
feel
really
like it
were-
was going to hurt us.
exactly right.
We didn't feel like it was going to hurt us. So we felt like, okay, we didn't get a chicken call. That's okay. We know we didn't bomb it. We really,
Yeah.
we just felt like we didn't bomb it. So we're like, okay, it's fine. And then ribs come along, and ribs is most definitely our strongest cook. And we ended up with a 10th place walk. So we were, at that point, we're like, okay, like this is, we got a real chance, because the thing with our pork and our brisket on Saturday is, I can tell you guys this much. Chance and Danielle showed up. Shout out to them. They
Yeah.
drove almost 2 hours just to hang out with us that day, and that means so much to us. We love them with everything we got. And that day, number one, Danielle was like, this is easily the best chicken you've ever cooked.
Yeah.
This is fire. The texture on the breast is perfect. The flavor is great. The glaze is amazing. The skin is good. Like everything. She was like, you nailed this chicken. Like I could tell. Now I can tell what you've been missing the whole time.
Right.
And that's basically what we were getting from it. And then the ribs, the same exact thing. We used our new glaze. They're eating it and they're like, dude, what did you like? These ribs are better than you've ever made before. And we always make really good ribs, in my opinion. And they were like, oh my gosh, these ribs are insane. So we felt really, really good about those two proteins, and they helped us with that confidence as well. Moving on to the pork, the same exact thing. Danielle and Chance were like, even my dad was like, dude, this pork is incredible. This money muscle is incredible. This pulled is incredible. Flavor's there. Everything is there. Texture's perfect. And that was the other thing for you and I. When we're biting the money muscles in the actual trailer, we're like, oh shit, we did it. Like,
Yeah.
we did exactly what we wanted to. And that's the thing. Barbecue is subjective, right? We understand that not everybody's going to love that, but we literally did exactly what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
We almost, in my opinion, exactly duplicated what we did in Ingleside, and that was a first place pork.
Yeah.
So again, we're getting, confirmation from Chance and Danielle, Dad, me and you felt really good about it. And, our brisket, it was the same thing. It was the same thing. I mean, they said the same exact thing. Like, dude, this brisket is fire. That burnt end was insane. I mean, the burnt end, when I tell you did not need teeth for it, and it wasn't stringy, it wasn't mushy, it was just melt in your mouth. That burnt end was so good so needless to say, I'm talking a lot about pork and brisket. You guys probably already know what happened. If you don't, I'll tell you what. Our pork ended up 114th, and our brisket ended up 111th. Out of about 145 teams,
I thought
147
it was
teams.
swap 111th pork and then 114th brisket, something like that.
It was one of the two. We got 111th and 114th, and at that point, obviously, we're way out of it. We're not even close to finishing in the top 10, not even close to anything. And that was a definite tough pill to swallow. That being said, I actually talked to Fred today, Fred Robles, and he's actually going to be getting some trifecta to his store here really soon. So if you guys are interested, go by Rio Valley Meats in, Harlingen?
Mm-hmm.
Harlingen, Texas. Go by his store, and you guys are going to be able to get some trifecta there probably within the next 2 to 3 days, because we just shipped it off today, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me that there was a few times when they went in and after everyone was done judging and they tried ribs, and he said 9 out of 10 tasted exactly the same, had the same exact texture, had the same exact flavor, had this, like, you couldn't even tell the difference. He's like, man, when you have that much of a concentrated amount of great cooks, it is so hard for judges. And somebody is going to get the short end of the stick. And unfortunately for us, it was us, right? It doesn't mean we had a bad cook. It just means that, for whatever reason, that table was a little bit harder or whatever, right? So it's just one of those things. We left that day and we were like, man, we're really disappointed or whatever. But, man, all we can do is get back on the horse and keep going and try again at the next one, whenever that is. So that's basically how our Saturday went in Seguin. We did end up getting, destroyed yet again. But we made we did make some leaps. We got a walk. Our chicken was much better. Now we just got to work on our pork and brisket, which I don't really know what we need to change, but we'll kind of look at that and we'll move forward. But we're just gonna keep going along and keep making videos and keep podcasting. And man, that's all that we can really do.
Yeah, I mean, when we got a call for ribs, it was one of those things where to me it was expected because I thought it was a strong cook. I did not think it was our strongest protein of the day, but it's our
I thought our
ribs,
pork was the strongest cook.
Well, right. So I think ribs are always consistent for us. I think most of the time they're always good and right where we want them. So that's one of those things where for me it's like, okay, I expect to hear good news about the ribs. But the pork I thought was our strongest cook of the day. I thought the shape of our monies turned out perfect. We had two monies that were extremely uniform in size and in shape. I thought our pulled was the exact, and even our monies when we were slicing them and trying them, and I bit into it, and I told you, like, this texture is perfect. This is what we were aiming for. Mm-hmm. Not saying it's perfect, the best, texture for everybody out there in the world, but it's perfect for what we know in our heads that we want for a CBA competition. The pulled, the same thing. I thought it was the perfect texture that we want in competition. That's just what the decision that we've made based on the competitions and how we've placed previously. So I did think, like, as you said, it was almost identical to the cook in Ingleside. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was extremely strong. And burn ends, I think that they're so good. They're so soft that it almost, our flat was good, but it almost doesn't even matter what anything else was. Those were perfect, and I thought those were just as good as any first place brisket that we've turned in, right? So, yeah, it is disappointing. Not that we didn't place right, but to get that low was a hard hit for me, because in your head, it almost makes you think like, okay, it's like we didn't even try, or they thought we didn't even try. Yeah. And when you get like bad appearance scores too on something that you're like, man, this looks the best that I could have made it, right? Those are hard things to really try and understand. But as Fred said, when you have that many cooks, you've got all of CBA pretty much, mm-hmm. and they're all trying to put their best out there, and a lot of us are using the same things, which, hopefully a lot of people are out there using Trifecta and Hospitality, right? Southern Belle, all of them. So, yeah, I can understand when you have that many that taste the same or look the same. It's like, yes, unfortunately, someone's going to get knocked for something absolutely ridiculous, because it's like, well, I got to knock for something. These all can't be 10s, right? And I'm sure that's how it is in the judging room. People put a 10. I'm sure there's some people who give somebody a 10, and then they're like, oh, that one's good too, I'll give that a 10. They, go overboard with the 10s. But there's probably also people who are super critical and like, nah, I haven't had anything that I think would be a 10 yet, so I'm going to go, lower on the scoring. So, yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow, and it is one of those things where it's like, okay, well, I need to look back and be realistic and logical and see what did I do wrong that I can fix in the future. But you're right, I don't think there was anything with our pork or our brisket where we actually thought like, oh, we need to fix this going into the next one, right? So
I agree with you, but it's one of those things we can't just continue to dwell on it. It is what it is. We're past it, and we just cook it again. We cook it again at the next one, and we see what happens, and then we just live with that too, because that's really all I can do. What else can you do? There was a lot of great teams out there that got 0 walks. There was a lot of great teams out there that unfortunately did not do very well. And I'm not saying that that's an excuse for us to have not done well, but it just happens.
That's how it goes.
It is what it is. The last thing I wanted to talk about when it came to Seguin, what it was well, actually 2 things. It was really good to see a bunch of our family members out there. A shout out to every single one of you guys that went out there and did well. It's just amazing to see you guys out there with our products doing really, really good, and actually going out there and walking, and just, it means the world to Sabrina and I. So thank you guys to all of our family members that were there, that support us, and it's just a really cool thing to see. The last thing is we did get a new drum. Bobby Delgado with Quattro D Drums actually brought us a brand new Shorty drum, and it's basically a 55-gallon drum. It's like half of it cut off. So it's a short one, but man, we're excited about trying it out. So if you guys haven't seen it on our Facebook, go to our Facebook, check it out. Leave me a comment. What's the first thing that you want to see us actually cook on this shorty? Again, shout out to Bobby. It is a beautiful drum. Absolutely killed it. And I'm just really excited to cook on that thing for sure.
Yeah, it's the paint on it is so beautiful. I think it's really an interesting concept. These short drums.
Yeah,
they're space saving, and I think they're going to be really perfect for something more hot and fast.
For sure. All right, well, I think that's enough about Seguin. It was a great weekend. CBA had an amazing event, and we look forward to doing it again next year and the year after until we finally figure Seguin out.
Yeah.
We'll definitely keep going, so don't worry about that. We'll definitely keep attending events in Seguin, and we'll definitely keep attending the CBA World Championship. So it was a lot of fun, but, on to the next one and on to next year. One of the things that we wanted to talk about today, because it's been really cold, and the weather is supposedly it's going to get really cold within the next couple of days. We actually have on Tuesday a 50% chance of snow, and on Wednesday we have a 55% chance of snow.
That's a lot for us in South Texas.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
I've seen it snow only 2 times here in my entire life.
Yeah.
So if we get snow 2 days in a row, that would be insane. I really want the kids to see it, so I am hoping that it does work out. But one of the things that we wanted to talk about today was, what's good cold weather food? What do you think is good cold weather food?
For me, it's soups all day.
Soup.
I mean, I love soups in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, and of course, this is so hot here in Texas, even in the winters a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Soup unfortunately isn't something it's a funny thing, right? Because one of the things we say a lot is, it's too hot for soup, right? But we're also eating hot food
All
for
the
dinner.
time.
But I think it's different when you have like hot broth inside you, right?
Yeah.
But I think soups is just my favorite. I mean, we love eating pho. I love eating any sort of like homemade soup, chicken noodle soup, chicken tortilla soup, potato soup, all that stuff. I mean, I like chili, but not as much as I like soup.
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely think I'm pretty big on chili. I do love soup, but I'm like, I love chili. I love a good chili, and I definitely think pho would be my favorite soup in general, especially if you get it from Houdat. And I was thinking about that today, actually. I really want to try and make pho, and I want to try and make a nice brisket pho. I think that'd be really, really good and interesting to see how we could make that work. If we could figure, I mean, number one, I have no idea how to make pho. I'm sure
I watched a video just the other day. Remember, I was like,
yeah,
I want to make this.
I'm sure that we could YouTube it because, that's what good YouTube is good for, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure we could YouTube it, figure out how to make some pho, and I think that a brisket pho is in our future for sure because I want to make one. I really think like literally smoking up a perfect brisket, having it ready the day before, a day later, and just like with hot soup and then slice the brisket up and throw it right in that broth. It's literally making my mouth water thinking about it. So
yeah, because I like when it comes to pho, I don't really like the meat that's been like boiling in it. I like meat that's been like prepared on the side and added to it.
Yeah.
Like grilled. I like the flavor it adds to the broth.
Yeah,
So
like that char.
Yeah, I think that would be really, really good.
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely, like I said, I'm with you pretty much. I mean, I do also, for whatever reason, I don't know why, I like Mexican food too in the cold weather. I think it's just because, just having some nice, fresh flour torts would be fire.
I like enchiladas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. It just feels like that's what I'm supposed to be eating. I don't know. Beans with rice.
Yeah.
So that sounds really good.
Right.
So, I mean, that's another thing that I'm really, really into when it comes to cold weather. And so, I'm really hoping that it snows. Like maybe we can even get some content outside, which will probably be miserable, but
yeah,
it would be cool to get some, content outside with snow on the grill or whatever. So hopefully
something on like the Dutch oven, right? Like on the Weber kettle, something like that. That I agree. Any type of like roast, home style food, like you said, like enchiladas, like lasagna, things like that are just like baked and hot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we actually should do a nice roast here soon too, because man, I just love eating roast at the house in the slow cooker.
Yeah.
And that's because, I mean, at that point, we're not really adding any extra flavor like with the grill or with smoke or anything like that. So definitely want to do something. And I do want to do an over-the-top chili, but I want to do it with burnt ends. And I
Yeah.
want the burnt ends to be nice and tender and throw them in there and kind of let them like melt in with everything. But I still want them to be a burnt end.
Right.
So I definitely, I definitely hope that we can, we can do some really, really good cold weather recipes coming up here soon. And I actually did forget to say about Seguin. Congrats to Pitfather, Eddie Morales, and Big O's, Stephen Oler. They won GC and RGC. Stephen won GC. A huge event to win a GC at. So congratulations to him. He actually also won Texas Angels as well. So right now he's on a little hot streak.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can keep it going if he wants to. If he wants to chase points this year, I think he's in a really good spot already because he won 2 really big events. So he's going to be up there towards the top of that list if he gets his 10 in and he has a couple more GCs for sure. So congrats to him. Congrats to Eddie as well. And again, shout out to everybody on our team that got walks. Just a really, really good weekend for us. Leroy Barrera also GC'd in Robstown.
Oh, nice.
That was an IBCA. And we had a couple of people out there at the IBCA actually running over there. So just a good weekend overall for everybody for sure.
So another crazy thing that happened when we got back. This is when we got back from skiing, right? Or like the day of?
Well, yeah, it was Saturday night.
Saturday night, right?
Yeah.
So, I think you would just try to post something on Instagram.
So Saturday morning, I made a post on Instagram, and it was like the Kanye West, good morning.
Yeah, yeah.
And I do that all the time at comps. I guess it's just kind of what I do in the mornings. I try and get like a really, really early morning, the brisket on the pit or me lighting the fire, just whatever, just an activity. So I made that post, and then throughout the day, we were pretty busy, so I didn't really get on social media like as much as I wanted to. I did take the pictures, and I put them on Facebook, but I didn't open up Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or anything like that. We ended up driving home. Of course, it's nighttime. I'm not texting and driving or on social media and driving, so we get all the way home. I think it's about 9 o'clock. I don't know, 9:30, whatever. And I finally open up my phone, and I open up Instagram. And it's telling me, please confirm yourself with the code that's tint. It says, please confirm yourself with the code that is sent to your phone via text message. And so it shows my number. Like, it shows my cell phone number. We both verify. It shows my cell phone number. And I click, okay, get code. And the code does not come. It does not come to my phone. Yeah. I'm like, what is going on? So then it says get new code, right? So I click get new code. Again, the code does not come.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what is going on here? Why am I not getting this code? So again, I click get new code. And I guess I just got impatient and I ended up doing it too many times. And then instead of trying to send a new code at the bottom of the screen, it just kept saying, please wait to try and do this again. Please wait to try and do this again. Please wait to try and do this again. And I'm like, what is going on? So this is Saturday night. So I'm like, whatever. I go to sleep, wake up in the morning on Sunday. We're doing a few things. I finally go to log back into Instagram. And again, it tells me, we need you to verify yourself with a text message that's sent to your phone. I'm like, what the heck is going on? So we end up not getting the text again. And I'm like, I have no idea. So I'm literally on the phone. I'm on my computer researching how to get Instagram fixed on my phone. Like, I'm looking up everything. And I see 1,000 different things to try. I try every single one of them, and literally none of them was working. And I was getting so flustered. Like I was telling you, I was like, dude, what do we do?
Right, like, did we just get banned from Instagram?
Yeah, I'm like, did we get banned from Instagram? Like, what? But that was the question. That was the biggest question I had. Did we just get banned from Instagram? Number one, why? Like, we don't post bad content. Like, we don't cuss on Instagram. We don't post nudity, nothing. So why would we have gotten banned on Instagram? What did we do? So that was my biggest question. And then I'm like, okay, did somebody hack our account? Right? Did somebody hack our account? But it still didn't make sense because it said the text message was coming to me. So why did I not ever get it? So we couldn't figure it out. And I wasn't able to change profiles because the first thing that happened when you open up Instagram is that it was asking for that phone number thing.
Right.
Right. So like I couldn't change to my, I have a personal profile account that, I never use, but I couldn't even change to that to look at the Gulf Coast Smoke account or even see if it was still there. So I said, okay, let me see. So then I was like, hey, Sabrina, can I see your phone? And she's like, yeah, sure, whatever. So I opened up her Instagram because she has a personal Instagram as well. And I go to Gulf Coast Smoke Barbecue, which is our Instagram handle. Go follow us, by the way. And the profile's still there.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. The post that I made that morning is still there. People are commenting on it. Sabrina can like it. She can comment on it. It was the weirdest thing. And then I have my Facebook. We have a business suite for Facebook. And if people are messaging us on Instagram, I actually get it to the business suite as well. And I could see that people were messaging. And then I was like, let me test this out. I was actually able to post and message people back from business suite. And then we were like, okay, I can still post to Instagram. Like, what is going on? Why can't I get into the app? So at this point, we're not banned from Instagram. Nobody hacked us. At least we don't think still, because I have access to it, but on the back end through Business Suite. Like, what is going on? So it actually came all the way around to where I went on my personal Instagram and I bought a verification badge. So you can buy Instagram verified or Meta verified for $20 a month, right? Like you get added support if you have this verification badge. It's a blue check mark. And literally within 5 minutes of me getting my blue check mark, I got on the support chat. I told them what happened and it was fixed. So I'm like, what is going on? And so what ended up happening is, well, I don't know how much I should say because then I'm like kind of giving away my phone number, right? But basically the country code was wrong. So my phone number starts with 1361. Okay. So +1 is the country code and 361 is our area code. Somehow in Instagram, instead of my country code being +1, it was +36. So like, again, my number is 1361. So I think that instead of the +1, it did the +36 for like 361. Mm-hmm. And that's Hungary or Hungary, however you say it. So like whoever was just getting probably 50 million text messages from Instagram, and they're like, I don't even know what this is. So sorry if you're listening out there that you got millions of text messages from me trying to recover our Instagram profile. But we ended up getting it back just due to that. And then I ended up getting everything fixed up and it's working just fine now. But it was like, I mean, I made a different Gulf Coast Smoke Instagram account because Sabrina and I were like, we gave up. We're like, oh, well, I guess we just lost our Instagram account. We have to make another one. And the cool thing about it was we were actually like, all right, let's look at this as a challenge. Like we can, we'll make this Instagram page bigger. But, we at the same time didn't want to, we have people that we work with, sponsors, people like Head Country that we've done, stuff with. And I don't want to be able to, I want to be able to talk to them still, like through our Instagram page and all that stuff. So it was important for us to recover it, in my opinion, and we did, and we were able to. So no, we did not get banned from Instagram, but it did seem like we were going to.
Well, it was a really weird thing because in my head I was like, okay, there's no way we can't talk to somebody on the phone about this. Like,
dude,
there's no way. Like,
so,
it's Instagram. There's got to be a way.
But you cannot talk to anybody on the phone.
No.
There's literally phone numbers all over the place, and every single one of them that you call quite literally tells you, oh, go to the Instagram support center or whatever. And I'm like, dude, are you serious?
.whatever/help.
Yes, dude. I'm like, that is ridiculous. But I got verified and I got it fixed up. So I'll tell you this much. I know it's kind of like a pay-to-play type thing, but man, if you do get into a sticky situation with Instagram, it does seem very worth it to have a verified badge. So what I'm going to do after this month is up, I'm going to transfer that verified badge over to our Gulf Coast Smoke account just in case, because, I mean, it was obviously worth it. And, I mean, that's our business page. So we'll we're going to get verified on that after this month because I'm verified on my personal Instagram and my personal Facebook right now. So I'm like, I don't want to, But anyway, so.
Money talks.
Money talks, and we got our Instagram account back, so we're good to go. We're going to move on and move forward. So also today what I did was I went on Facebook and I asked people, hey, do y'all got any questions? Any questions, which we haven't done in a while, but we're already kind of getting towards the back end of the podcast. But, man, we want to at least put in a couple of questions of people that threw their name out there. So let's Let's get into that real quick. All right, so the first one comes from Chris Beggs, and it says, can you tell me what episode it is that y'all talk about comp ribs and brisket, please? Man, I'm not going to lie to you.
Your
I'm going to
guess
have
is as good as ours.
Well, I'm going to have to go back and look at that, Chris. I'll send you a DM on that and let you know exactly when we talk about it. So I'm sorry that I cannot give you a definitive answer there, but I will get it to you, okay? So just give me maybe a few days and we'll get that to you. But moving on, Daryl Delancey. I really like Daryl. Daryl has been supporting us for a long time. Daryl, if you're listening, man, I really appreciate you, bro. Like for real, means a lot, dude. You've been with us for like years, and so yeah, I just appreciate you, man. But he says, once you take over the barbecue world, do you have any plans to expand products beyond seasonings and sauces, such as grills, grill products, charcoal, pellets, etc.? And man, number one, first and foremost, I'll say that I appreciate you having confidence in us that we're going to take over the barbecue world. And secondly, I don't think that there's anything that's off the table except for like grills, smokers, charcoal, and pellets. I don't think that's ever a market that we'll get into. I mean, you don't want to ever say never, but we have some really great partners right now that we work with when it comes to grills, smokers, charcoal, pellets, and all that stuff, which we'll continue to talk about that a little bit as the year goes on because we do have some stuff to talk about there. But, Jay Craig with Outlaw Smokers makes just the absolute most amazing, incredible, beautiful smokers in the world. And I love that I have a relationship with him enough to where I can call him and say, hey, I want this. And, he built us a custom stack for our Outlaw that allows it to get us in and out of our trailer with it now. And he's just amazing dude. And just having that relationship with him, is awesome. And I don't think we'll ever be able to build pits the way Jay does. So.
Well, and I think barbecue pits, grills, all those things, smokers, there's so many great products out there already. Yeah. So I think it'd be a tough market to compete in unless we found something that was just like, revolutionary, inventive, all those things.
Which is not impossible, but.
Yeah, and like you said, nothing is off limits, but I also think like charcoal production, smoker production, I think those are full-time things, right? Just as much as seasoning is. So I think we would have to be at a point where we're really big and can, pass the baton to other people to help in this. Because, sure. There's no way you and I would be able to keep up with seasonings, sauces, and barbecue pits and charcoal.
We would need a team at that point, obviously. Yeah. But, like we said, nothing's off the table at all whatsoever. But I really, truly enjoy the partnerships that we have right now. And at this moment, we're not even looking at it. We're not even really thinking about it. But, man, again, I love the question. And thank you so much for having the confidence in us that we can move on to something else. That really means a lot.
Yeah. The next question is from Cook Shack Barbecue. And it says, favorite cuts of meat to smoke/grill?
Man, for me, really, I know we talked about it already a little bit, man, to smoke. I love smoking a turkey breast right now. Mm-hmm. I love smoking a turkey breast, and I just love grilling some chicken wings. And you know me, I'm like a chicken wing lover.
Yeah.
Like I could eat chicken wings literally multiple times a week every night. So, it's one of those things that I really, really enjoy. Cooking wings, turkey breast. I love cooking ribs as well, pork ribs. It's so weird about pork ribs because, even before we started competition, that was easily my best cook.
Right.
I could always, for whatever reason, cook really, really good pork ribs. And then it's really translated into competition as well, which is really cool. But what about you?
My go-tos are definitely like a classic barbecue chicken. So like
like the one we made recently.
Chicken thighs where you get that char on the skin. I love like a good flank steak, skirt steak. I like any cut of meat that you can get some char on.
For sure.
So I guess I would definitely lean more towards the grilling cuts of meats.
Sure.
But for like smoked meats, I love beef ribs.
Yeah, beef ribs.
And your ribs are hard to beat. So
yeah. No, for sure. Great question, Cook Shack. Thank you. And we appreciate, you've been putting out some really good content lately. Don't think Sabrina and I do not see what you guys are doing. So great content you've been putting out. That's Keating. That's our boy Keating. Really appreciate you, brother. Corey Boussart has the next one and says, when are you making the Gulf Coast Smoke cookbook?
Well, first we got to fix our recipes that were all deleted.
Yeah, it's honestly something that Sabrina and I have not really talked about, but I have thought about it in my head. And I think that that'd be something really, really cool for us to bring to the table one day. At this point, I don't think it's anything that we're really like focused on doing this year or anything like that, but it is something that it's been in my brain. This year, what I really want to do is I really want to focus on giving people more information about barbecue, about competition barbecue in general, and putting on some classes, maybe putting on some online, media out there, a library where people can go and see. We can update recipes and stuff and kind of build something out that way. One of the things that I know we put a lot of information out there, but I also know we hold back a lot. And it's not like we're trying to just like hold back and that we're trying to keep stuff from you, but it's like we don't have enough time on a YouTube video to go through every single thing on every single protein. So we try and give you guys tips and tricks, but there's a lot that you guys have never seen us do that we do every single competition. I promise. Yeah. And so I really want to put that out there this year, and I really want to just focus on helping people grow the sport of barbecue, whether it be in the backyard, whether it be for YouTube, whether it be for competition. And that's one of my biggest things. But what are your thoughts on a cookbook?
Oh, I love the idea of a cookbook. I mean, that's something that's I feel like is like right up my alley that I would enjoy putting together. I definitely like making the recipes. It's just one of those things where we're trying to prioritize our time to certain things right now. So I definitely think, much like Daryl's question, these things are not out of the question. They're things we're thinking about and things we will get to eventually. But I mean, it's definitely not going to come out next month. That's for sure.
Well, the thing is, and this is the thing, right? And I always try and be real with you guys. We still have a lot of growing to do. Sabrina and I know that. We do believe that we've got a great community behind us. You guys are obviously sitting here asking us questions and you're interested in what we're doing. But it's one of those things where we still have a lot of growing to do. So we're really focused on content and just putting stuff out there and letting people know who we are, what we're about, what we want to do in this life. And I think that that's really important for Sabrina and I right now. So these things, like Sabrina said, are not out of the question, but we're on a different mission right now. And that is to continuously post content and content and content. And hopefully you guys keep listening and watching and enjoying.
Yeah, and then the demand and the excitement for releasing something like that, it will be
a little bit higher. Yeah, I mean, because
for sure.
The last thing Sabrina and I want to do is put time and effort and money into a cookbook and 20 people buy. And that's just business, right? That's literally just, Sabrina and I were sitting down talking at the dinner table last night about business, about what we need to do, how we need to do things. And we got an interesting email today, which we won't go into too much detail about, but like, man, we might have to make changes in our business because of things that are happening throughout the world. And it's like, man, it's hard. Sabrina and I, like, I don't think you guys understand, right? But it's like Sabrina and I, when it came to owning a business and running a business, we were like babies, like newborn babies. When I tell you we just jumped in, we literally just jumped in. When I tell you we knew nothing about filming, we knew nothing about filming. When I tell you we really didn't expect for this to be a thing. We know who we are as people, and we know that we don't really like to do anything halfway, but we didn't expect this. We didn't think we would be sitting in an office one day podcasting, and there's potentially however many people listening. But, man, here we are. So we're just going to keep going. We're going to keep growing, and hopefully things keep going good.
Absolutely. And our next question comes from Jonathan Molina. It says, any tips on how to compete in such an expensive sport?
Yeah, that's a tough one, Jonathan. It really is. But, man, my biggest tip to you would be find local events. Right. Find something that's close to you to where you don't have to travel so far. You don't have to stay in a hotel. And, give yourself a good opportunity with your meats. You don't necessarily have to go too crazy. You can get yourself a prime brisket. Get yourself some good pork from a local H-E-B or a local grocery store. You can get it at Walmart or you could get it at H-E-B. Man, and you can run a competition that way. Also, compete in IBCA, which is just a 3-meat competition. And you don't have to buy that 4th meat, that pork. But, man, I really think starting local, doing local contests is going to be a really, really good idea for you. And it's going to just give you the best opportunity for you to go out, have some fun, and, again, not have to travel or stay in hotels because I'm not sure what setup you have or anything. Get yourself a canopy, get yourself a table, get out there, have some fun, get yourself a good warmer. You don't need a Cambro. There's other brands. Man, start small and grow with the sport as you find out if you really love it or not. Sabrina and I are still in the first trailer we've ever had. It's too small for us, but we're fine. We're good. Yeah. I've had a lot of people tell me, y'all need something bigger. You need this, you need that. And they're wrong. I mean, I'm sorry. They're not wrong, but we're trying to scale everything in our lives at a rate that we can control, at a rate that we can handle. So, man, start local. Shop at your local HEB or Walmart. If you want to go high quality, obviously you're going to go to somewhere like Tuddles. You're going to go somewhere like the Chopping Block. And, man, I do think you're going to give yourself a better opportunity, like if you go to a Tuddles or Chopping Block, but you can still get away with it, do some good stuff if you shop at a local HEB or Walmart for sure.
Yeah, I think also reducing the throwaway type things like the foil pans, all that stuff. If you can find reusable
which
metal
we're
pans,
actually kind of getting
pans,
into.
Right. Like for your wrap process for, after you inject and overnight, which I understand that doing dishes after a comp sucks, right? And if you don't have anyone like we do, we have your dad that helps us tremendously, yes, to wash our dishes throughout the process, which is awesome. But if you don't have that, I understand that, washing dishes after a comp is like awful because that's the last thing you want to do when you get home, right? But if you have, a reusable pan for your brisket every single time, a reusable pan for your ribs every single time, and your chicken, those are things that you aren't going to have to buy over and over again every comp. And honestly, those things get expensive. Foil, we can usually get like a pack of foil pans from Walmart, but they're flimsy. So it's like, well, shoot, I should have just bought the more expensive one.
And you might spend like $20 on a pan, but then you can use it forever.
Right.
And so that's just an upfront cost that you have, but you don't have to do the reusable ones over and over and over. So think about those things. If you have any questions, man, reach out to me directly, and I'll be glad to talk to you about it for sure. All right, so Guillermo Manacas says, is paying to get your Instagram account back a scam? And he asked that because he's actually the one that recommended getting the Meta verified, and I went through that process. And so it's not a scam. It is not a scam at all, brother. Thank you for that tip. I really appreciate you, man.
It's a little ridiculous, it seems, but it helped. So, I mean,
for sure.
You can't complain.
100%.
Joshua Grizzle says, best injection for comp-style ribs.
LC's Boss Hog. That's what we use. LC's Boss Hog. We have been using it since day one, and we have not changed once.
Yep, absolutely.
Really, really good stuff. RJ Hinojosa says, inject or brine or both for chicken. We do both. We do a brine with water, trifecta, and some other stuff.
A little bit of this,
a little bit of this, a little bit of that, as my good friend Kevin Hernandez would say. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Trifecta, water is our brine, and then we inject. Yeah, we also inject the next day as well. So we personally do both, but, I think that the biggest thing that Sabrina and I did, and what I can suggest to you, is try both. We've done brine only. We've done inject only. We've done 6-hour brines. We've done 15-hour brines, 12-hour brines. We've done 3 tubes of injection, 1 tube of injection, half a tube. We have done, I'm telling you, dude, we've done everything. We've tried a lot when it comes to chicken, and we're just now kind of starting to fall into place on it. Took us a long time, but we'll see if we can continue it. But, man, I feel good on where we're going.
Yeah, I feel like you can't go wrong with, at the very least, brining your poultry. And Alan Randall says food warmer. Now, we don't really know what context this is, but if you're looking for a recommendation on a food warmer, we use a Cambro.
Yeah.
And that's so obviously it's not really a food warmer, it's a food holder.
Yeah.
I think a food warmer would be a good idea in comp, possibly when it comes to like holding sauces and stuff, but not necessarily your proteins.
I don't even think you can.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think you can.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't think that's if you're talking about competition as far as a food warmer, I don't think that's going to be good for your proteins anyway. So we use a Cambro that holds our food. It keeps it warm without cooking it more. Now you do obviously want to kind of burp it and let the air out so it doesn't get too hot, because then it could carry over cook more than you want, but it's obviously not going to keep creating heat and adding heat to your proteins.
Yeah. And Brian Fox says we should have a cook-off of just team members.
Oh,
so he's talking about our family members, the GCS family, and I think that that's a really cool idea, Brian.
Yeah.
Great idea. we'll come back to that one. But
Yeah,
on to the
absolutely.
next one.
Jonathan Burnett says, do you prefer your new rig over the drums you used to use? Pros and cons.
So, yes.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, just yes. I mean, so I'll say this much, right? I had Ray's Crew drum smokers, a Gateway drum smoker, Weber kettle, and they are all great cookers. And I mean, like, great cookers. We won with them. We've had success with them, but the texture that I get off of our offset is, to me, much better. The color I get on my offset is much better. The efficiency at which it runs is just amazing. I love having to feed it sticks. It's a lot of fun. Man, I would hands down, I don't think I would ever go back to drums.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the biggest difference, right, is that the fire management as far as a drum is going to be very simple. You're not going to have to keep tending to it. Of course, you want to, watch your vents if the fire's dying or getting too hot, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas with the offset, you're going to have to keep feeding it sticks and manage that fire. But I think when it comes to the drums, it's a much more harsh environment than the offset, because we do get a lot softer of a bark, which is what we want for comp. And it's not as harsh, so we get the better color that we do want. I mean, all these things are still possible on a drum. I think it's just a matter of how you as a pit master are comfortable with running. Yeah. So if you are comfortable with drums and you can use those to the best of their ability, that's great. If you're more comfortable with an offset, that's good too. So I think it does depend on the person. But for us, we really enjoyed also not having to cook on so many different things. The fact that we can put 3 proteins all on one thing is a plus for us.
All right, Matthew Anderson asks, info on getting into backyard competition, especially around Galveston or Brazoria County. Man, I'm not really going to lie to you. I'm not too familiar with the area, but I mean, go to IBCA website, go to Lone Star website, and go to CBA website and see if they have any competitions in your area for sure. That would be my biggest suggestion.
Yeah, if any of you comp guys are familiar with that area, go check out the Facebook post and maybe give Matthew some answers there.
Absolutely.
Raphael Jones says, how you do a drumstick?
Like a competition one? Or
I don't know, maybe. Or in general, I mean.
Well, I mean, I guess that answer varies, right? Because if I was doing a competition drumstick, I would brine it.
Yeah.
I would basically just cook it exactly the way I do a half chicken right now. I would brine it with trifecta. I would, cook it, hopefully get a nice color, get a good glaze on there. And if I'm cooking drumsticks in the backyard, I'm actually
flip.
I'm butterflying them.
Oh yeah, that turns out really good.
I'm butterflying them. That's my favorite way to do them, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Raphael, I'm not really sure on the context there. If you actually just reach out to me directly, we could talk about that for sure. Micah Gwaltney says, I want to know about this new rub I heard about, and I don't know how he heard about it. But I kind of been teasing it a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, we probably said it somewhere already.
Yeah.
Or on Facebook.
Yeah, he's talking about that hashtag Thanos.
Oh, yeah.
And I call it Thanos because you ever seen the movie when he goes, it's balanced as everything should be. And he's got that little knife or, whatever on his finger.
Little
thing, it's like perfectly balanced on his finger. I just feel like it's a really, really balanced rub. I guess that's all I can say about it for now. I mean, it's like a weekend to 2 weeks into us actually playing around with it. So
stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned to that one. There's not much to say, but yeah.
Rochelle A. Stevenson says, injection recommendations or recipes you're willing to share for the different proteins. I mean, you've mentioned this already. LCs. Mm-hmm. I mean, Boss Hog for your pork.
Boss Hog for pork and ribs.
Yeah.
Foul Play for chicken and Playbull for brisket.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being dude, I would not sit here and lie to you guys. Those are literally the products that I use.
Yeah, if you're looking to get into competition, start with those 3 for your proteins. And if you want to build to the recipe, go for it. But definitely at the base.
And also, Rochelle, you can reach out directly and we can talk about recipes. I'm glad to help you with any questions you have about any recipe, and I'll give you everything. So just DM me and or text me, call me. You got my number, and we'll talk about it. Cardell Ross Jr. says, what is your general list of items that you bring for a competition? Did one last year for the first time and just about filled a U-Haul. Planning on a couple more this year, and I'm trying to be more efficient. And the thing that I love about this is Chance actually replied to Cardell and gave him the link to the YouTube video where we actually made what we take to competitions. So Cardell, I'm actually going to leave that one there. I think that's a great video, and I thank Chance for actually giving you that information for sure.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things also where the more and more you go, you're going to realize what you need and you don't need, and it's going to change over time because we've definitely reduced the amount of stuff that we bring. Every time we go, we try to become more and more efficient. So you're going to learn that by experience as well.
No doubt.
Verl Green says, when are you filming a tell video on Barbecue Champs or the Barbecue League? And I'm going to start by saying that we're not against that, but that's definitely going to be something we put on our channel.
Yeah, no doubt. So I actually responded to Verl and I said, man, they've never reached out to us.
Yeah.
They've never reached out to us and let us know that they wanted us to do anything for them or with them. But I can tell you this much, and I'm not exaggerating. Before this question was asked, Sabrina and I were talking about this last night.
Yep.
How I want to take a week of vacation and we want to dedicate some real time to sharing all of our recipes down to the T, talking about how I inject down to the T, which is a lot more than you'll actually see on the videos when we're on YouTube, and then talking about the cook process, talking about what I'm looking for, how I'm doing things, and putting this out and having a catalog on the internet and saying, hey, man, you can buy this tell-all video, of how we cook chicken, how we cook pork, ribs, brisket, all that stuff, burnt ends. And it's something that we're going to work on this year. I mean, I don't know necessarily if we'll do an in-person class, but I know for sure that we'll do this.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to figure out how we can do it ourselves. And It's because two things. I think if we do it ourselves, we're going to be able to give you the best price possible there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a high value, I would say. I don't know what the price of it would be, but I mean, I'm talking, we'll talk about halves, we'll talk about wings, we'll talk about thighs, we'll talk about a lot of different things when it comes to this, into this barbecue competition world that we're into. So be on the lookout for that, Verl, and thank you for asking that question and thinking that we actually are on that level to be on those platforms, because a lot of world champions, a lot of great cooks have been on those platforms. But again, they've never reached out to us. That's not a bad thing. I'm just telling you, they haven't reached out, so there's probably no chance of us doing it on those platforms. Okay? Leroy Barrera, again, shout out. Congrats on that, GC. Says, are y'all planning another invitational barbecue cook-off? If so, do you have an idea when y'all are going to have it? That's a good question. We kind of haven't even thought about it, I would say.
We wanted to have one this past winter, but with our schedule going to Disney World and everything like that, we weren't able to make it happen. So we definitely, it's something we want to do, but right now, it's not at the forefront of our priorities. Sure. But we definitely want to keep having them. We enjoy them a lot, and it gets people to come out on the channel and show a little bit about themselves and their barbecue team. So we definitely want to do one again.
Yeah, and then there was a couple of people that responded and said that question for sure, and how can we get selected to participate? And then another one said, and how do we get invited? So this year, if we do one, I would like to open it up for a lot more teams, which would make for a less intimate YouTube video, but it would still make for a YouTube video. And I would need a larger venue. And then also the selection process would have to be, just because, just as other things, I've gotten some crap about who we chose and who went and who did this and who did that. And we're never trying to do that, guys. We're really not. But I understand everybody wants a fair shot. So what we would do is the only people that would get an invite back would be the reserve and the grand champion of our last one. That would be Cesar Mejia and Zach Smith. That'd be Smoking and Toasting and Meat Locker Misfits. They're the only two that would get an automatic invite back. Everybody else that's interested in it would go into a pool. We'd do random drawings for however many extra teams we need, and those would be the ones picked. And it would be completely random. Whether it's all my best friends or people I've never met, it would be completely random. We would do it all live. We would make sure that you guys see that it is completely fair and square. And that's really going to be the only way that we could do this moving forward, I think, in order to have a successful event and keep everybody as happy as possible.
Absolutely. And our last question is from Johnny Wilson. He says, can you make a video of what goes into making the seasoning, how it works, what's the process? Now, we've filmed a short, and we'll put it in the replies for you, Johnny. But we filmed a short on generally what goes into making a seasoning, and it all starts with, first of all, figuring out, what seasoning are we going for? What are we going to use this for?
Yeah.
What are the flavors we're going to want in it? Do we want more salty, more peppery, more savory, more sweet, right? So, and then it's just grabbing those ingredients, starting with a base of, salt, pepper, sugar, and adding things or taking away things as needed for, the goal that you have in mind for that particular seasoning. And it's just making batches of it, testing the different batches. Once you find a batch you like, trying it on your proteins, passing it around to friends and family, see what they think about it, see if there's anything that needs to be changed. And then if you are looking to sell seasonings as we do, it's finding a co-packer, having them make you a sample of your seasoning.
Yeah.
Because once you go to your co-packer and they make a sample, it might taste different than what the ingredients you're using at home.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be a lot of recipe testing, but the main thing is figuring out what flavor do you want? What are you going to use this for? What kind of color and texture do you want on the seasoning? And just playing with those seasonings, the measurements and the ingredients until you find exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah. That's honestly a perfect answer. I don't really need to say anything else besides my recommendation would be to get your seasoning in weights, because they cannot 100% accurately make a seasoning based off of quarter cups, half cups, 2 tablespoons. Weights is going to be everything for them. So try and get your recipe in weights. If you have 5 grams of sugar, 5 grams of salt, 5 grams of pepper, 5 grams of this, 2 grams of this, 1 gram of this, get that in weights. It's going to make your co-packer's life way, way, way easier. So that was a great answer by Sabrina. There's really nothing else I need to say. And, man, I think a successful podcast today. I think a really, really good episode. I enjoyed this one. As always, I really appreciate just getting to sit here and talk and, talk about life, talk about barbecue, and talk about things that are going on with us. So did you have anything else you wanted to talk about before we sign off for the day?
No, that's it. I mean, I was very happy to be able to get questions from people.
Yeah, we haven't really been asking.
Yeah,
we haven't been asking, but we'll start asking more, and we appreciate you guys giving us those questions and that feedback. It does make for a very entertaining podcast. But man, if you guys are interested and if you guys like what we're doing, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel right now. It's something where we put out videos all week long. We put out a podcast every single Friday at 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Man, we appreciate you guys tuning in. We've been growing. We've been gaining subscribers. It just means a lot to Sabrina and I. So if you guys do like the content, share it with somebody else. If you guys are listening, thank you for listening. Nothing else?
No, I mean, sorry we didn't put out a video this past Tuesday. It was a very busy weekend for us with the CBA World Championships. But be on the lookout next Tuesday for a full recipe video.
Yeah. And also it was our daughter's birthday on the 12th, which was our whole day was dedicated to that. So, I'm not going to lie to you guys. We talked about videos every day, which we actually have put out a video every single day on our platforms so far. But there is going to be probably some exceptions to that. And I didn't really think about that when I said this, the 365 thing. But, we're not going to film on a Sunday if it's our daughter's birthday. It's just never going to happen, right? So we always choose family first. That's what we live by. That's what we want our mantra to be. That's what we want our whole thing to be built around here. So thank you guys again for watching. Thank you for listening. If you guys haven't, share this with a friend. Maybe they like barbecue. Maybe they'll like listening to us talk as well for an hour or whatever we did today.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. We'll see you on the next episode. Peace.